Munchkins and viewers alike, it's me Munchie and welcome back to Rescue Story Intake. For those of you who are new, hello, my name is Munchie and I showcase when we rescue and intake animals here at Munchie's Place for Homeless Pets, which is a small mammal rescue in the state of Washington with a division in Minnesota. So if anybody is interested and they are in Minnesota, definitely check out our available hamsters on Pet Finder. So hello everybody, welcome. This is going to be a rescue intake and this animal was listed in 2 places, but we inquired for the animal via Offerup. This lovely enclosure you see here is probably a flashback. Did you review this at the beginning of the year? Yes, I did. And yet here it is, back in action. This enclosure has not 1, but 2 adorable little ham-hams. And I have a lot of information to give you guys, and there is some information that I completely forgot to ask, but this person that decided to rehome these animals was a really nice person with children, and she, from my understanding and my feel from interacting with her, was a loving, caring, kind person that just was not informed, and the pet store was feeding her full. In this situation where we went out and we inquired and we took these animals in, they are going to be available in a couple weeks after quarantine at the rescue, and they will be separated because we do not recommend a beginner or even an experienced pet owner for having dwarf pairings. So this right here is all dwarfs, but the thing is that I've seen a lot of fallouts, and because we have domesticated animals in an environment that's way too small for what they are used to in the wild, and because it hasn't been 100 years yet for domestication, they could potentially cause each other harm. And I have seen this type of animal causing its own species harm despite being cohabitable in the wild. So today's dwarf hamster that I present to you that you might not see out right now, but they were out when I actually saw them, are Robo-Ruskies. Yes, the world's fastest, smallest little ham-ham. This is the enclosure of which is not appropriate because right off the bat it is a vertical enclosure. So we're going to do a little bit of education here right before we jump into getting them out of here and putting them in a suitable setup. Vertical enclosures do not benefit these types of animals that are burrow animals that spend at least 2 feet underground in the wild. And hamsters are much more different than gerbils, where gerbils are active underground, where hamsters are active above surface. And these guys, they run super quick and they need a fast wheel so they can maintain that energy, that instincts that they have to just run like crazy. So we do have 1 wheel in here, and it is a Amazon wheel. It was the Petzilla sunflower wheel. Now this one in here looks to be the 6.5 inch, which is just minimum for Robo-Rusky. However, these guys, if you tend to see them out, I mean, I'm really hoping since I made this video they would come back out. They definitely were using the wheel and it ran smooth and it was good, but they're kind of big to be using that. But this right here, compared to what you see in the background, which is my Night Angel large Bigger World cage, this is tiny. It's a shoebox size enclosure. And so if you see right here, there's not enough bedding height. So this, I think if I measured correctly last time, was maybe around 3 to 4 inches. And because I forgot to bring measuring tape in and I don't know where I set it, I'm sorry, we're not gonna be measuring it. So we'll just move on. Height is not good because these guys can fall off. And the owner said that these guys liked jumping off, which she didn't make it sound like it was a bunch of red flags for her, thinking that this was normal, because she's not advised or well knowledgeable about the species needs and where they came from. So she said that she saw this and thought it was a large enclosure because of the ledges, which ledges, even though it has a height volume, there's not a whole lot of benefit for them, and the height can actually hurt dwarf hamsters. So there are wire enclosures out there that are appropriate, like the Preview 528. I now don't recommend those cages for dwarf hamsters due to the way they climb them and can potentially fall and hurt themselves. Limbs not working right, eyes blinded because of impact. It's not appropriate. So these types of enclosures, please get rid of them. Instead, making your cage horizontal and building up a lot of bedding height. They should have somewhere around 5 to 6, where 3 is just really a minimum amount. However, they're not going to be able to burrow a whole lot, and these guys love to burrow. So please make sure you're providing a lot of bedding depth. More is better, but just keep in mind the more you have in there, the less you're going to see your hamster. And maybe the harder it is to interact with it. So make sure when doing your research online to see whether or not a lot of bedding is suitable for your hamster and your hamster's needs and what you want out of your hamster when it comes to taming. But Roboroskies are very hard to tame, and because this person had an older child and a very younger child, they were not able to hold the hamsters except for the older child who was able to hold one. Let's dissect the enclosure and then see the hamsters at the very end, because they're still not out yet. And it's not because of me talking, it's just that it is, I guess, night-night for them because they were very active in the car ride home, which I actually had to travel for after work. So if I don't look super appealing or hot and sweaty, it's because I haven't stopped since work. Oh, work was horrible today. But thank you guys for asking. I seriously appreciate it. Let's just try to open up the enclosure here, which the only two openings you're able to access your hamster, which is terrible when it comes to people trying to interact and tame a hamster, is a tiny little door up here where a prey animal like them will think you're going to snatch them up, pick them up, and kill them. And that's just because they are prey animals and you're coming in from the top where they can't see you. I would be scared too if this massive hand is coming in from above and I'm like, oh, what's that? This one right here comes in from the side, which I appreciate, and your hamster would too. But again, you have a really small opening. And because this enclosure is made out of wood, Roboroskies are not really active chewers, not really. I have had a few that might nibble here and there, but this enclosure is made out of wood and there's wood pieces on the inside. Hamsters have actually chewed out of this type of enclosure. Whoever has this enclosure, get rid of it. It's bad. I hate it. This is gonna be reviewed, by the way. But anyways, safety matters. This is not safe. However, for dwarf hamsters, they're not gonna really escape it. It's Syrian hamsters where they will chew it up. And gerbils, of course, can't fit inside of here because it's made out of wood, and gerbils chew wood like there's no tomorrow. Trying to figure out how I can get everything out to show you without disassembling it, which I would have to in order to interact with these animals. So let's just pick apart every little detail. Starting with one tiny, I believe this is a 3 ounce water bottle. Not bad. I actually like the PetSmart water bottles. They have a good design. The absolute worst information that the pet store could have given this lady: a salt lick. This is not needed. And unfortunately, I forgot to inquire which pet store gave her this misinformation. There was several in the area, so there could have been a Petco, PetSmart, but we can actually take a look at the things inside of here to determine whether or not this was a mom and pop store, maybe Petco, maybe PetSmart. But this right here is a Ware salt lick. Someone's gotta have Ware products at their store. Or, like this enclosure, purchased online, because there's a lot of products here, like the Petzilla wheel, that had to have been purchased online. We got the Asteroid chews, which they're classified as not food, but yet they're chewable. But please don't purchase Asteroid chews. This is obviously a cuddle hammock because it used to hang, which these are great for mice if they don't chew them up. But when it comes to robos, they might try to bury themselves in here and they might try to pouch all the cotton, which is not appropriate. So that's why it's more safe for mice than it is for hamsters. So I would actually be removing this. Like, look at this. I can't even get this one out. Like, this also discourages people from keeping it clean and trying to clean it regularly, which the mother of the children said that she was keeping it nice and clean. They would clean it out weekly, which for this type of enclosure, yes, it is needed. So she did clean this right, and these guys are for the most part very clean. Healthy, not so much, but clean, yeah. There is at least a lot of little chew balls right here. I'm just trying to think how I can take this out without disturbing them. I do have the bin that they're going to be going inside of, which, let me show you the size of the bin. Well, you can't really see, not too much at least, but it is much bigger and it has more volume, and you can stack up a lot of bedding versus this wire enclosure, which you can't. So this is why it's more beneficial. So they're going to be going in here. So let me try my best to get them out and then show you guys the rest. Can you guys just walk into my hands magically? That would be great. The thing is, I'm going to be disturbing them, but watch how I try to interact with this enclosure, because I don't want you running up. Let's see if I can dismantle this. No, I cannot. Oh, yes, I can. There we go. Well, I guess I could review this as well. There is a lot of food in here. This is unnecessary and wasteful. They will urinate on it, they will poop on it, they'll crawl on it, they'll touch their own feces and then crawl on it. And it's so big, and for the size of the animal, it's just not needed. This actually looks like the KT Fiesta blend. I'm not entirely sure if it is, but we'll check it out because I have a baggie right over there. All right, at least I could get this one out. So another product from Amazon, very small. It is suitable and it does have a bottom so they can't get stuck in here. So at least the heights are appropriate, and they did provide much more enrichment than what I see other people doing. So honestly, when it comes to rescuing hamsters from Craigslist ads or Offerup ads, which Offerup is where this one was, and Facebook Market, both of which you're not supposed to be listing animals for sale, and I had a feeling with the way this ad was described that they knew about it. Oh, you guys are both in here. Okay. Hi. Oh my gosh, I got them both. Oh, you guys aren't too bad. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. Oh, you're kind of big. You're kind of too big. Meet fatty number one. Fatty number one, unfortunately, is overweight due to the pet store giving misinformation to the owner of the food and seed mix. But this is them. I just am so nervous that they're gonna jump out. I mean, look, they keep going. They just keep going and going and going. So this one's a female. I'm trying to show you right here. You can see the nipples. Now, the thing that I'm really worried about is the puffiness of the chest. I've seen that a lot in Roborosky hamsters where when their chest is puffy, it's inflammation. And a lot of the times it has to do with allergies. So these guys might have something that's very allergic to them. It could be that they are so overweight that they're walking on their chest and it's irritating it. But I remember Almond was the first hamster with the inflammation on the chest. Thanks to antibiotics, it went down, but it took a while for her. There was one on one of the hamster groups where I was talking to them saying, hey, this looks like inflammation. And turns out it was. So yeah, we kind of have some experience with that. But let me go grab the grayer one. And I forgot what the gray's one name is, but one is Humphrey, the other one is CC. Wait. She said that these were males. This one is also a female. That one's really big and that one doesn't want to be touched. Okay, so we're good. We're good. They're both females. Oh, she said they were both males. Oh, but the pet store gave her that information. Oh, okay. This is why I checked. So whenever we receive an animal, typically we would check. There was only one time when we didn't check, and that was because we were given information via another rescue. So poor little Ham has very long nails. Both of them do. But they're so overweight, and that's because the pet store said, hey, so maybe they pick out their seeds, so it's totally okay to just be feeding them sunflower seeds. No, that's not a balanced diet. That's way too much fat, and that's more like a treat. That's why seed mixes are there, because there needs to be a lot of raw ingredients, or you're going to make your hamster really unhealthy weight-wise and internally. If I were to say eat a hamburger every single day, would that be necessarily healthy? I mean, it's got the protein and it's good protein, but it's got the fat too. But if you don't have variety in your diet, you will become unhealthy and your body would have to work in a different way to manage that. And sometimes you can overload your organs, and that's not okay. So this is what the pet owner did without knowing this is not correct. We're gonna be adding bedding at least to here because I wanna make sure they have bedding in here. Now we're not gonna keep them together just because of the potential they could turn on each other. So this unfortunately is open, so I'm gonna freeze this one because I'm a little nervous about adding bag of bedding inside of an enclosure if it could potentially have been contaminated prior to purchase. So they gave us 2 bags of Carefresh. Now Carefresh is sold at both Petco and PetSmart. So we're only keeping them in here together for right now until later I can separate them. Oh, that was a lot of bedding for that small bag, huh? Yeah. And because they can't climb, I'm just gonna leave the lid off. It'll be okay. She purchased a whole bag of bird mix. This right here could have been harvested differently. It could have different ingredients in here. It's just you don't feed seed mix from bird mix to your hamster. It's not balanced. And it's like, this is scatter feeding for birds, wild birds out here. Wild birds have other stuff that they're eating in the wild. You're just contributing by having seeds that may be found naturally in the wild, but not all at the same time where they can pick and choose. So don't do that ever. The reason why they rehomed was because the children just fell out. I have the ad right here. It says dwarf hamster cage and supplies. 2 dwarf hamsters cage and lots of supplies. She says they're brothers and about 10 months old. So I had a lot more information in person than what they gave me via Offerup, but it was very quick and simple, and the lady knew that I cared and she appreciated that, and she was just nice. It was just really misinformed by the people that she was talking to. And then we got the cage cleaner. This stuff isn't bad at all, although water and vinegar is preferred. So this will be used for, say for instance, guinea pigs, and then just rinsed out. So this right here, I'm just saying this, completely safe and fine. It's okay, guys, but water vinegar is what we typically use. There is a really tiny little litter pan. This isn't needed, and if they did have sand or chinchilla dust, which is not appropriate, if they have that in here, it's not enough for them to really roll around in and submerge themselves in sand, because dwarf hamsters, they need sand. So that's why some of their coats is kind of parted and icky, if you saw that. Dwarfs need it because they can't really clean themselves very well. They're just way too round. They have 2 separate balls, but guess what, guys? This also gives it away too. These are tiny tails, so this is a PetSmart thing. Are these guys from PetSmart? It's a possibility. I honestly feel like that bowl might be from PetSmart because I don't see it at Petco, and they haven't changed their bowls at all. We just got more, oh, what is this? Oh wait, no, that might be the Oxbow treats. We got Oxbow treats in here, I think. Why is it wrapped up like this? Oh, okay, so I was very confused. I thought this was actually human treats, but it's on a stick. So this is a Timothy Hay Pop, and this is definitely not from Petco. This is more of a pre-made treat. Someone made this. My guess is mom and pop store now. Or they might just be shopping at multiple places. I don't know, it's a possibility. Here's one of those, oh, here's 2 of these swing sets, which is not really appropriate for hamsters, but mice really love these, so I can use those for mice. But yeah, that is it right there. And oh no, okay. Oasis Vita Drops, high potency multivitamins for hamsters. You add this to the water. This is highly not needed. So they were just giving them drops to boost their vitamin and minerals, which should be in the seed mix. So there's actually no seed mix that I received in a package. So the only thing that I know of is that this potentially is KT Fiesta food, and the seed mix I do have in a bag is bird seed. So this is just all wrong. It's just get your vitamins and minerals naturally from seed mixes, commercial seed mixes, and fresh fruits and veggies. And we do have this. It's pink though. I've never seen the pink one, but we have All Living Things dust bath here. This is way too fine of a powder. It causes upper respiratory issues. It can cause upper respiratory diseases in these small animals. And this actually makes me wheeze too when I breathe it in, because let me show you. Let's see. Oh, it's not even open. Oh, they haven't even opened this yet. They purchased it, but never used it. And it just sucks because, yeah, the children just fell out of owning hamsters. So that stinks, especially since, you know, they probably couldn't interact with them. They were given mixed information about hamsters because the pet store sold them a Roborosky hamster saying that this hamster will warm up to you eventually. That's not the case with a lot of Roboroskys. They are very hard to tame, and I told the mom that, and she, you know, kind of agreed with me, where I was just like, yeah, they told us that they would be tame. We've had them for a little bit. They're not tame yet. We try to hold them. At least one of them will allow us to hold, but they're not gonna be cuddly and sit in your hands. And not all hamsters do that either. Rodents, they can act completely differently. It's their personality that can really make the difference, and your patience and time handling them. But this was a pet home, and they had other animals where they really love those animals, and it was a very nice family life and situation. So I feel just this person's misguided, so please don't put a lot of blame on them. They actually went to the pet store thinking that they had all the answers. They did not, and they did purchase enclosures from online, but they were the wrong ones. Thank you guys so much for checking out these 2 new hamsters. I don't know what I'm gonna be naming them to because they are completely different genders of what they were told originally, so we're gonna have some name changes. But yeah, Humphrey and Cece. Now Cece, I don't believe we can use because I believe Minnesota had a Cece, but we will be changing them to different names, and they will be getting their own separate enclosures. So thank you guys, and if you enjoyed today's video, hit like to show support, comment down below with anything you'd like to say, and subscribe if you're new here or like to become a part of the Munchkin family. I'll see you guys around. Bye!